everyone, welcome back to another Q&A. We're here with Murray. Murray, really enjoyed your sermon yesterday, and before we get into a few questions, why don't you remind the listeners that haven't had a chance to hear it yet what you talked about on Sunday.
Hebrews 9:11 through 14 answers the so what aspect of Christ's redemptive work as it's applied to us. And really what we said were three basic things: that Christ set us free to serve, and the way that he did that is through securing our redemption, through buying us back from our sinful selves, through purifying our conscience, of meaning always trying to save ourselves through doing good works, and in enabling us to serve him through being bought back, through having a pure conscience. Now we're set free to use our time, resources, talents, energy to serve him.
Yeah, I love the point you made about when we have a pure conscience, it frees us up from comparison, and sometimes we don't even associate maybe our conscience not being pure. Are we trying to earn our salvation by comparing ourselves? The point you made about like maybe I'm doing these religious activities better or more than someone else. What are other advantages that a pure conscience frees us up, or just practical ways in which maybe sometimes we're maybe acting out from a conscience that we haven't fully accepted as pure from the Lord?
Yeah, I think the overwhelming sort of sense that I kind of come back to when I think about that is just the word, and maybe it's the wrong word, but it's the word, hey, relax. You have freedom. You can't, we can sin, and that's offensive to God, and we do sin, but we can't mess up God's sovereignty. No. And so having a conscience that is pure, that is clear before God, means that I can live my life freely, without fear of punishment from God, without fear of retribution from God, without fear that he's angry or upset with me, but rather have a God that is smiling down on me. I think about, I've been thinking about this sermon in terms of like an athletic performance. You think about the way that a father or a mother smiles at their child as they compete in something. That smile gives them freedom to be them in that athletic event, right? And then if we think about athletic event being, our life, and a father's smile being God's smile for us, towards us, should sort of free us to play life, do life with everything we have, without fear of retribution, without fear of failure, even though we will fail. So,
yeah. And that actually is all brought together, right? Because we have a living God who has a relationship with us. How would you help someone, or what are maybe some practical ways of helping someone or helping us continue to reflect on that God is living, that he is active, that because he's active, we're able to have that pure conscience, we're able to have a freedom to serve. How might you help me reflect more on a living God?
I think maybe the thing to say is we can think about God and conceptualize him as, and rightly so, as someone who is omnipresent. He's everywhere at once. He's omniscient. He's all-knowing. He's all-powerful, omnipotent. And when we begin to do those things, rightly so, we get this grand picture of God. But we ought not sacrifice that grand picture of God with an intimate picture as well. Jesus is both transcendent and immanent, like he took on human flesh. And so I think what that means is he wants a relationship with you, John, Murray, whoever. He wants a relationship with you. He desires intimacy with you. And that affects the way that we pray for things. That affects the way that we communicate with Him throughout the day. If we only have a concept of God as a transcendent God, then we would never think to pray for a doctor's appointment that we have coming up that we're nervous about, or for students for a test. We think, oh, God doesn't care about that stuff. He only cares about the big stuff. But if we have a God that's intimate, that's personal, then that frees us up to say, oh, no. We have a living God who desires an ongoing relationship with us, which probably furthers the thing that we were talking about earlier, furthers that freedom to live in context of that relationship with a pure conscience.
Yeah, and that pure conscience helps us say, I'm not afraid to have an intimate, to get close to you.
That's right.
Because you're not going to reject me.
Yeah, to be fully known and to be loved and accepted despite my sin and failure.
Yeah, that's highly encouraging.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. So, well, we thank you for your word and how the Spirit used you yesterday. As always, if you have any questions, we would love to hear them. If it's regarding a sermon or just a topic that's been on your mind. But we thank you for your support at Common Park and listening.